Based on Corruption Perception Index, in 2020 Indonesia is in the 102nd rank corruption countries from the 180 countries surveyed. Actually, this rank is better than previous year, but it doesn't guarantee that Indonesia's ranking will be continue decline in the future. At the beginning of 2021, Indonesia still enlivened by various corruption cases, from the Jiwasraya corruption case, Asabri corruption case, until Social Fund corruption case.
Based on corruption eradication data from 2004 until 2020, losses suffered by the state due to corruption reached 168 trillion rupiah. This is the equivalent of paying 3.36 million children until became a bachelor. The definition of corruption and corruption regulation number 13, 1999, connection with regulation number 20 2001 years about corruption eradication is an act against the law with the intention of enriching oneself, other, or corruption which result in the detrimental to the state or the country economy.
21 Corruption Regulation. Perpetrator will be sentenced to imprisonment for a minimum of 3 years and a maximum of 12 years, and or a minimum fine of 150 million rupiah and a maximum of 600 million rupiah. Corruption has very bad effect on the life of the nation or state because there was been rudeness, dishonesty, and hurt people's sense of justice. Budgetary irregularities that occur due to corruption have reduced the quality of state service to the public.
Generally, in corruption regulation, there are 7 groups of corruption crime: harm to state finance, bribe, embarrassment in position, extortion, cheating, conflict of interest in procurement, gratification illegal. Corruption is not only limited to the public sector, but also in the private sector and even international institutions and companies operating in the country.
There is many several conditions that lead to the emergence of corruption, such as leaders have a mentally irresponsible, leaders have a mental always want to get material benefits, lacks of transparency in government decision making, expensive political campaign, project involving large amount of public money, self-centered habit and a network of old friends, weak law order, weak legal provision, lack of freedom of opinion or freedom of mass media.
In Indonesian regulation system, corruption is regulated in Regulation Number 31, 1999. In the corruption regulation contains penalties and fines for corruptors. In Article 2, Clause 1 Corruption Regulation, corruptors are sentenced to imprisonment with life imprisonment or imprisonment of at least 4 years, and a maximum of 20 years and a minimum fine of 200 million rupiah and a maximum of 1 billion rupiah.
In Article 3 Corruption Regulation, defendants of corruption and abuse of authority are punishment with life imprisonment or imprisonment for a minimum of 1 year and a maximum of 20 years, and or a minimum fine of 50 million rupiah and a maximum of 1 billion rupiah. Meanwhile, a person who purposely prevents directly or indirectly the investigation, prosecution and examination at court of suspects, and defendant or witness in a corruption case can also be convicted.
Corruption is a crime committed by those who actually feel it is crime educated. Corruption crime can occur because of human greed, weak faith and morals, a consumptive lifestyle, and many more. Corruption is usually carried out by community action officials, such as political officials, civil servants, and other parties who have special position.
The impact of corruption has caused problems in many sectors such as in democracy sectoral, corruption shows a serious challenge to development. In the political world, corruption complicates democracy and good government. Corruption in election and in the legislature reduces accountability and responsibility in policy formation. Corruption in a short system stops the rule of the law, and corruption in public government results in imbalances in public service.
In economic sectoral, corruption also complicates economic development by creating high distortion and inefficiencies. In the private sector, corruption increases commercial costs because of losses from illegal payment, management fees in negotiating with corrupt officials, and the risk of cancelling agreement or due to investigation. Corruption made chaos in the public sector by diverting public investment to community projects, where bribes and wage are more available.
Political corruption in the public welfare sector means that government policies often benefit the briber. Corruption always brings negative consequences because corruption is delegated and reduces public confidence in the political process. In many political corruption is also included decision making in a public political. On the other side, corruption causes various development projects and public facilities to be of low quality and not it according with the net issue. This can make long-term sustainable development delay.
The best way for eradicate corruption in Indonesia is by updating the bureaucratic system, implementing a strict legal system, and pricing so that corruption cases do not occur again. A more transparent bureaucracy so that every citizen can survive state official without anyone closed over again. Supervision can be carried out in the collaboration with the press media, so the government policies can be known and understood by all Indonesian society.